Yo. Hello, 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 hello. Welcome to the stream, everyone. Gonna chill. Guess we'll wait for some people to show up, but we are live, I believe so. Once again, not a whole lot going on, just hanging out. A little ask me anything, a little just seeing what the chat wants to talk about today. Let me know if you can hear me and see me. And let me know if the music is too loud. How's everybody doing today? This fine Wednesday evening. What's up, Gabriel Santana? Jazzy B, Mr. T1J, what is your favorite album of all time? I guess I would say my favorite album of all time. I would say either the Fugees' The Score or Nirvana Nevermind. One of those two. And you can tell by the years that those came out, the era of music that I grew up in. Hopefully we get some more people in here in the next couple of minutes. I guess it's a little bit earlier than I have been streaming lately. There might be some people that are not quite off work yet. Yeah, it's kind of hard to determine the best time to stream. You know, my audience is adults, so I try to stream when I think that people are going to be off work, which is usually in the evening time. But not everybody works, you know, a typical 9-to-5 job. You know, some people work early, some people work late. So I don't know. But I do think that the evening is probably better. Late afternoon, evening is probably the best for most people. But if I do it too late, then, you know, then people are like, well, that's too late. I got to go to bed. Like I've done streams at like 9-10 p.m. my time, which is, you know, maybe a little bit too late. I don't know. I myself am a night owl. I am usually most active at night or in the evening time. Although I did have to get up pretty early today because I had an appointment with the mechanic. I had to get some things done with my car. I'm also experimenting with promoting the stream in a community post, which I never did before. I don't know if more people will see it that way, or if the same amount of people will see it, since they'll see the notification for the stream, and maybe there'll just be 2 notifications, and that's annoying. So I guess we'll see. Make sure these links work. Okay. But I mean, how's everybody doing? What are you guys up to? And also, where are you at in the world? I'm always curious to see where people are actually watching from. I don't know. Maybe we have to wait a few minutes for people to show up. Usually it doesn't take this long. Maybe this is indeed a bad time. Watching from NorCal. Playing hooky from work today. Yeah, I guess everybody's at work. I don't know. We'll see. I know there's a lot of viewers from California, which makes sense because it's, you know, I think it's the most populated state. Is that right? I think so. But yeah, like I can, in my analytics, I can see the breakdown by state, and California is just like way more than all the other states. It seems like I've been having a lot more international viewers lately too. Weird to see only 13 people here when you have 362k subs. Feels like I'm getting one-on-one time with a big celeb. Well, I wouldn't describe myself as a big celeb, but yeah, the streams, I'm not really primarily known as a streamer, so my streams are not really that big. Like even at max, I think the most I've ever had in a stream is maybe like 100, and usually it's closer to like 40. So it's never really that many. Just because I didn't grow an audience from streaming, so people You know, I guess people are by and large not that interested in the stream. A lot of people just don't watch streams. It's just not the type of content that they like. But I would like to, you know, grow the stream and get more viewers, but there, you know, it's kind of a balance, because I don't want to stream that much. Like, you know, like professional streamers, they stream multiple hours a day every day, and I have no desire to do that. That sounds awful. Also, you know, you have to come up with content for your stream, and I don't do that much. I usually just come on here and chill and just see whatever the chat wants to talk about. But I do want to like add more variety to the stream, but you know, that's like more work that I'll put in at some point. Looks like a few people are coming in now though. Watching from Southeast Georgia. That's what's up. That's not too far from where I am. Hey, T1J, love your videos. I appreciate that. Thank you. I know you gave a really good explanation for why you were moving away from political content to pop culture analysis. Would you ever make political videos again? Unlikely. I think, you know, my videos, I think, are always going to be informed by my worldview, and my worldview is always going to be informed by my politics. But yeah, I just am so completely over the way that politics is discussed on the internet. I just don't really want to be a part of it. It's pretty terrible. I just think it's a big mess. I don't think it's productive. Yeah. And it's gotten worse. It's like getting worse over time. It's not getting better. So that makes me even less likely to do it. And it's, you know, it's sad. I wish we could talk about politics on the internet without being weird, but it seems like we can't. It seems like that's something human beings are incapable of doing. And it's not all our fault. A lot of it is the way that social media algorithms work, and you know, the most extreme voices being algorithmically enhanced and pushed, and that's unfortunate. But it is also our fault. I've tried a lot to have conversations with people, and I'm not saying I'm some kind of saint and I've always done it correctly. I've made a lot of mistakes in that arena myself, but yeah, it's like I can't remember the last time I had a political discussion with someone on the internet and then and felt good about it afterward. Or not even like good, but felt like, hey, that was a good use of my time. It is messy as hell. Yeah, it is indeed. It sucks. Did you ever see the Nickelodeon show Cousin Skeeter? I remember watching that show growing up, for sure. I haven't seen it anytime recently. I barely remember it, but I do remember, because I remember it had Megan Good on it, and I had a crush on her when I was a kid. If you ever did get back to the political content, I'd be all about it. You were one of the most sane and relatable voices in that space. Well, I appreciate that. I tried to be. Yeah, I just don't know if that is. Yeah, I mean, I think there's an audience for that sort of thing, but even I don't think that people really want that in political commentary. People like they want their biases to be validated. And the moment that you don't do that, then all of a sudden you become the enemy. And I just don't really want to get into that. I don't want to walk that tightrope. You gotta protect your peace. That's true. And I think that I've been a lot happier, and I've definitely had a lot more peace since stepping away from politics. I'll still talk about politics here or there. Like, I'm not like opposed to ever talking about it, but I don't want that to be my public identity or the focus of my content. But I mean, if you find me, like, I'll make a post on Blue Sky that's political, or Reddit or something. Like, I've talked to people on Reddit here and there, but with those things I can always step away at any time. If it's like my content, then I can't really step away from it. It's also just kind of hard to come up with political content. Like, doing politics, like, it would be easier if being a YouTuber was not my job. When you do politics as a job, that just adds all kind of complications. For one, you got to keep coming up with content ideas, and it's hard to do that with politics without like pandering or sort of being lazy with your ideas and research and stuff like that. And then, of course, like I said, you could say the wrong thing and lose half your audience, and that's not good when politics is your job. How do you feel about bringing politics into your media analysis? Well, like I said, my videos are always going to be informed by my worldview and political viewpoints. But I'm at the point where I'm not trying to be overtly political in my videos. I'm not trying to alienate people by being political. But, you know, it's always going to inform, you know, I'm still me, and I'm not ashamed of the things that I believe. You know, I just made a video about the character Jodie from Daria, and her whole story is about what it's like to be black in an all-white town. And it's like impossible to talk about this character without being political, because that's what her whole story is about. So it's, you know, it's always going to come into play. I think there's an audience out there who wants more honesty and integrity instead of just having their biases confirmed. Yeah, I'm sure there are some people. I don't know if I think that's the majority, though, especially nowadays. You're either preaching to the choir or feeding the trolls. That's what it ends up being a lot of the time, and I don't really have too much interest in that. We're cool to see a 90s Nickelodeon video about black families like Keenan and Kel, My Brother and Me, Go Island, stuff I grew up watching. Oh yeah, I mean, I would love to. I'm trying to think about that. Because I want to cover more black shows on this channel, but I'm a little hesitant because my audience is like 90% white, and most of them probably didn't grow up watching a lot of those shows. But I am gonna try to like to do it more. Is that Psy or SCL? Thank you for the $10. I appreciate that. Everything, people label everything as being political. Existing is political. Yeah, and that's the thing that I decided that I wanted to get away from. I don't like the idea of everything being political and everything that you think about or interact with has to be seen through a political lens. I don't like that. I think that's exhausting. So I am trying to get away from that personally. I just want to enjoy things or interact with people without things being political sometimes. What have I been watching or rewatching? Pretty much mostly what I watch now is TV shows as research for my videos. That's kind of all I watch. And I don't want to reveal what I'm watching right now because that'll spoil the next video. Outside of that, I watch MCU shows and YouTube. I watch a lot of YouTube, if that counts. Love the Jody video. Some of the most enlightening material I've come across. I appreciate that. I sent the wrong sticker. Well, I mean, it's a cute sticker, but I guess the context of it is strange. White person who didn't watch a ton of those shows growing up because I only had cable when I was really young. Would love to see a video on that topic. Yeah. I think a lot of white kids watch shows like Keenan and Kel. I know I did. It was on Nickelodeon. Yeah, Keenan and Kel was probably very popular enough to cross over. Breshvik, thank you for the $10. I appreciate that. Yeah, there are some black shows that I think crossed over. I would guess that Cousin Skeeter and My Brother and Me were probably primarily watched by black people, but I could be wrong about that. Those shows were also on Nickelodeon, but they probably were not as popular as Keenan and Kel. What kind of content do I watch on YouTube? Man, I watch all kinds of stuff. And it kind of changes over time, just depending on what I'm into at the time. I watch a lot of stuff that's just very specific to the hobbies and interests that I have. So like I'm really into D&D, so I watch a lot of D&D related YouTube. I'm really into chess, so I watch a lot of chess related YouTube. But yeah, outside of that, it just kind of depends. I was in like a true crime phase for a while, and I was watching a lot of true crime YouTube. I like fighting games, so I watch fighting game YouTube. And then, you know, there are just kind of the commentary. I like commentary YouTubers. Sometimes I watch educational stuff. I don't really watch a lot of politics YouTubes anymore. I used to watch a lot of politics YouTube, but I don't really do that. Sometimes I watch comedy. Just kind of depends. Live Style Rewind. Thank you for the $10. I love your channel and enjoy everything you make. YouTube is hard to make a living from, and I think you're doing great. I appreciate that. Thank you. YouTube is hard to make a living from. But I'm one of the lucky ones to where I've at least been given an opportunity to try and make it work. There were a few black-led Disney Channel shows like That's So Raven. Yeah, I think That's So Raven is probably really popular among like all audiences. Any D&D themed channels you could recommend? Yeah. I guess it depends on what kind of D&D content you like, but like there's like just D&D like news or like D&D advice or like D&D actual play. Retta, thank you for the $10. A lot of donations today. I appreciate that, everybody. I really like Bob World Builder. That's a good channel. I mean, Critical Role is like the sort of granddaddy of D&D channels, even though I think they don't even play in D&D anymore on that channel. But I'm a fan. Pointy Hat is a really good D&D channel. I think that's the name of the channel, or is that just the name of the character? Yeah, Pointy Hat. Jenny D's pretty good, yeah. Dungeon Dudes are pretty good. I think Dungeon Dudes is good if you just like videos about like the mechanics of D&D, which I like stuff like that. So yeah, those are a few, I guess. It's crazy how I've been sub for years, but you never age. I appreciate the compliment. I guess I've got good genes because I'm getting older. I actually turn 40 in like 2 weeks. I'm white and I grew up loving shows starring black people. I grew up in a very rural farm community, so those shows in the 90s were a window to me. Yeah, that's cool. I've met a few white people that they just know all the black shows. G&G Tabletop is actually entertaining to watch. I don't think I've even seen that one. I'll have to check it out. Did you enjoy That's So Raven? I definitely watch that show all the time. I watched it a little bit. I believe That's So Raven is a little, like I was a little bit too old for it when it was popular, but I definitely saw it here and there. Deer Stalker for comedy? Is that a channel? I don't know that one. Oh, it's like a D&D comedy channel? Cool. Welcome to the 40 Club. Thank you all for the birthday wishes. I might try to stream on my birthday or maybe around my birthday. Maybe do something special. I'm actually like next week or this weekend is Memorial Day weekend, so I'm doing kind of a celebration this weekend so that my friends can can hang since they have an off day on Memorial Day. But my actual birthday is the week after that. But yeah, 40, that's so many years. But you know, I feel good about it. I used to stress out about getting older, but I'm pretty chill with it now. We'll see if that chillness lasts forever. Check out Bardic Inspiration. Is that another channel? Do you partake in the za? Do you mean weed? I'm 35, but I feel like I'm 70 sometimes. Well, I mean, I guess I could see that, but I still feel young for the most part. I mean, I definitely don't feel like I'm in my 20s, but I don't feel old at all. I feel just as capable as I always would for the most part. As for weed, I had to stop smoking weed because I get like hay fever symptoms when I smoke weed. And then I tried edibles, but I don't like edibles because they take too long to kick in and they last too long. So the only like form of it that I really found that worked for me was like THC infused drinks. But my state, which is Alabama, they just passed a law that severely limits the sale of THC products, basically killing the THC industry. So it's kind of not going to be a thing anymore in the next couple of months, starting in the next couple of months. Just wanted to say I bought your book and it gave me some great insight. I'm starting my YouTube channel this weekend. Awesome. I appreciate that. That's cool. Hopefully that goes well for you, and hopefully the book helps. If you have time, assuming you bought it on Amazon, can you leave a review? I guess you don't have to have bought it on Amazon, but can you leave a review on Amazon if you haven't already? Make sure it's an honest review. When I was a little kid, I assumed everyone was born white and darker skinned people were just really tan. When I was 5, a black acquaintance of my dad had to explain to me he was born that way. Oh yeah. I remember thinking stuff like that when I was a kid. When I was really little, I didn't understand a lot of stuff like that. May I suggest small baby joints get the tolerance up? It's not a matter of tolerance. Well, I mean, I guess it could be tolerance, but it's just because I have allergies to certain things like pollen and dust mites and things like that, and apparently marijuana smoke is one of those things. So I'm not sure if the tolerance matters because it's just an allergy. It wasn't always like that though. That it only started happening in the last couple of years. Edibles are so unpredictable for me. I get that. I've been on a break for the last couple months, and it's been kind of brutal as a daily user. Yeah, yeah. I don't know. I tried edibles for a while. It's not really my jam. And you know, it's possible I just didn't have the right ones, but just my experiences. Like they're fine once once they kick in and you're good, but then it just takes too long. Like sometimes it takes literally like over an hour to kick in. It's like, what am I doing? And then some of them just last like 2-3 hours. It's like I don't want to be high for 3 hours. I don't know if this weed talk is going to get the stream demonetized, but it's not like I make money from these things anyway. I appreciate that, Daniel. Yeah, it's just make sure it's honest. I don't want to be accused of influencing you to leave a positive review. If you have any criticisms, please let me know. It's actually helpful. No, I don't. I mean, if I didn't want to talk about it, I just would have ignored the question. It's fine. I don't have like ads on these anyway. So that would be the only downside of being demonetized. Literally anything. Yeah, you can ask me literally anything. If it's cringe or weird, I might ignore it, but I'm a fairly open person. I don't but I do keep the chat in mind. I don't want to talk about something that's gonna gross out the chat. Oh, I see what you're doing. It's a joke. I see. Carry on. I'm drinking this A&W cream soda. It's really bad. Don't buy this. It's trash. It's A&W zero sugar cream soda. And you can tell it's not a sponsor because it's bad. I'm telling you not to buy it. It's really bad. Well, it's not like it's like drinkable, but it's like among the worst cream sodas that I've had. Are you familiar with Lil Bill? I am familiar with that. Any thoughts on AI and its relationship to labor among the working class? I mean, I think it's a complex topic that I probably am not the right person to talk about. I think that AI is a new and pretty pretty intense and powerful technology, and I think that humans should find a way to ethically navigate and interact with AI, because it's not going anywhere. I think the issues with the working class and how AI interacts with the working class is like a completely like broader issue about how society treats the working class and how society takes care of its citizens. I feel like if we protected, if we like took care of our people, like this would be like a non-issue. So I think that would be the thing to take care of first. Like, I think focusing on AI is kind of missing the forest for the trees. Have you ever lived in other parts of the country / world? I've never lived anywhere except the United States. Well, actually, I was born in Germany, but I left Germany when I was like 2, maybe less than 2. The only other state that I have lived in for a long time is Maryland. I lived in Maryland from like age 2 to age 8, something like that. I want AI that can do my dishes while I make music, not AI that makes my music while I do the dishes. Yeah, I've heard stuff like that before. Like I said, AI is just a powerful tool that it would be good for us to figure out the best way to interact with AI. What music subculture did you say you were to closest to being a part of? Emo kid, hip hop head, metalhead, backpack rapper. Well, when I was in high school, I was definitely into the backpack rap scene for sure. But I was also really into grunge. I was kind of a weird kid. Hey man, long time. First time, have you seen the hood dubs of anime made by Rab So Petty? Maybe? I don't know. Maybe not. Oops. No, I don't think so. I've seen something like this, but I don't think I've seen this creator specifically. Thank you for your work. I appreciate that. Raucous Records, definitely. I was super into that. Mos Def, Talib Kweli, Common, Pharoah Monch, all those folks. That was my shit in high school. What's up, Mr. Morgan Farts? How long have you been making videos on YouTube for? Long time. I started like consistently making videos in 2010. That's when I would say that I was like, I'm gonna be a YouTuber. That's kind of when I decided I was gonna do that. I made videos randomly here and there for years before that, but that's kind of when I really started making videos consistently. And I guess I've been making consistent videos ever since. I don't think I've ever taken more than like a 2-month break from making videos for 15 years. I used to get almost into fights for listening to the wrong band back in high school. I wonder if that exists as much as it used to back in the 80s, 90s, and 2000s. Yeah, I don't know. I honestly have no idea what's going on in schools these days. I don't interact with children very much. I feel like at my school though, I was just kind of like one of the weird kids and people left me alone. But I went to a like a high school for smart people, but it was like smart black people. So it was like still kind of a black school, but it was like a school full of black nerds, kind of. Do you plan on watching Saturday Night Main Event? If so, got any predictions? I don't even know the card. When is that? Is it every Saturday? I guess I don't keep up with Saturday Night Main Event. Really the only thing that I watch are the premium live events. And I'll watch like the top 10 Raw moments on YouTube. I imagine if I wasn't living out in the burbs, I probably would have spent 8th grade debating Jay-Z versus Nas battle with everyone. I remember having those conversations with people. That was definitely a big deal. Jay-Z versus Nas. If you could pick just one piece of advice for someone trying to get themselves out there, get more people to see their stuff, what would that be? Sorry if that's a lame question. Are you talking about YouTube specifically? Or just like creative work as a whole? Because the answer is probably different. Honestly, if you just mean creative work as a whole, I probably don't know. I don't have no idea. But YouTube specifically, I might have some ideas. Because YouTube is very unique and interesting. I work at a small high school and haven't seen that kind of thing happening. Yeah, I wouldn't know. I have like cousins who are in high school, but I don't really talk about, or I don't really talk like to them about that kind of stuff. 15 years is a long time. How do you explain your job to friends and family? I don't have a very orthodox job, but I guess it's easier to parse for most people than I imagine YouTuber would be. How do I explain my job? I don't know. I don't think they really understand. But, you know, being an influencer, social media star is so popular now. Everyone kind of understand that that's a thing you can do. So I think most people kind of get it, but I don't know if they really understand like where the money comes from or anything like that. Illmatic, what an album. Definitely one of the greatest albums ever. So the thing about YouTube specifically is YouTube is powered by a suggestion algorithm. So in order to get people to see your videos, you need to make them in a way that the YouTube algorithm will it's not, well, I don't want to say it like that, because the way that the algorithm works by trying to suggest videos to people that they want to watch. So you have to learn how to make videos that people want to watch. Now, if you're like really first getting started on YouTube, I don't even think you should be worried about building an audience or like trying to blow up or anything like that. You just need to learn how to make good videos, which I think it took me like 10 years to even learn that. I don't think it needs to take that long for other people. I think there's a lot of information and resources and tutorials and stuff now that weren't there when I started. But if you're just getting started, you just really need to practice and get reps in and just learn how to make stuff that's good. If you feel like you already know how to make stuff that's good, then you have to learn how to market it to the audience. And you have to learn how to make good titles and thumbnails. Titles and thumbnails are like more important than the video itself. It's kind of like titles and thumbnails are kind of like the billboard for your video. So no one can watch your video if they don't click on it. So you have to make it irresistible to click on. But luckily, to me, I think this is a good thing, because you don't have to do anything except make good videos and good titles and thumbnails. Like, you don't have to walk the streets promoting your videos. You don't have to promote it on social media. You can, but you don't have to. YouTube takes care of the distribution and the advertising for you. You just have to make the stuff that's appealing. And it's hard. I don't even think I'm that good at it. But it's possible. I wrote a book about it. Whenever I watch one of those Dark Side of the Rings, I almost feel guilty for watching pro wrestling. Give these guys an off season. Most fans can deal with it. Yeah, they definitely are overworked. I do think that they're a lot better now about giving people breaks. They didn't used to be. They used to have to work like 365 days a year. But I think they're a little bit better with giving people breaks now. My oldest niece is graduating high school this week, and I still can't believe it. She was born when I was in my senior year of high school. Yeah, I know the feeling. I have a little sister that that's about to graduate high school. Do you like jazz or any jazz artists? I don't really know any jazz artists. I don't have anything specifically against jazz, but I never listened to jazz. I can't think of any. I mean, I like John Coltrane. But that's the only, name that I can think of. I can't think of like very many like jazz pieces that blew my mind, but I probably just haven't heard them. The card is Jey Uso versus Logan Paul, McIntyre versus Priest, Cena versus R-Truth, and Rollins Breaker versus Punk and Zayn. Are any of those title matches? Probably Cena's gonna beat R-Truth. I think they want to push the Rollins Breaker thing, so I could see them winning. I don't know about the others. If Jey Uso versus Logan Paul is a title match, I don't think they're gonna give Paul the belt, but if it's not a title match, it could go either way. Seems like there might be a conflict between appeasing the algorithm and making videos your audience wants to watch. No, I don't think so. I think making videos your audience wants to watch is how you appease the algorithm. But making making videos that you want to make might be different than what your audience wants to watch. There's definitely can be a conflict there. I think part of being a YouTuber is learning to sort of like get over yourself and just accept that sometimes people just don't like what you made. You might think it's amazing, but if you upload it and nobody clicks on it and nobody watches it, no, you just made something that people weren't interested in. That's just how it goes. I can't predict the algorithm. I do remixes. Videos I thought would do well didn't. Videos I thought wouldn't do well did. Yeah, that happens a lot, but it's an art and a science, and it's hard, but it's clearly doable because people do it. There are people who can reliably get views, and a lot of it is just the ideas. Sometimes the entire idea of a channel is just not great. I think that's one of my problems. The idea of my channel is not it's not like a viral, it doesn't have a lot of viral potential because I make videos about TV shows from like the 90s and early 2000s. So that completely narrows my audience to people of a certain age, people who like that kind of stuff. And then it also narrows it more because there are some people who just don't like that show. Like I made a video about Friends and it didn't get any views because people don't like Friends. So that's just on me for picking that as the idea, but that's kind of what I want to make. And that's kind of what I was talking about, where sometimes what you want to make is not exactly what's going to go viral, but it's up to each creator to find the balance. And sometimes you have a good idea, but it just doesn't have a good title and thumbnail. Like I said, that's really important. I think the title and thumbnail is more important than the video itself, which may be unfortunate, maybe kind of sad to say, but it's true. Your music in your shorts always slaps. I know that yours adds a lot of value. I need to make more shorts. I've had my channel about 4 years. I grew a lot last year, but I think that was luck. I haven't gained any subs in the last 7 months, but post vids weekly. Feel like my channel is dying. I mean, I know the feeling. I've had so many plateaus. You could argue that I'm currently in a plateau, but I don't know. I think I'm growing. It's just slow. The thing about it is, I think you get out of YouTube what you put into it. And a very good thing in life to keep in mind is if what you are doing does not give you the results that you desire, then that means that you need to alter what you are doing. Do not beat your head against the wall doing the same thing over and over again, hoping that something's going to change. It's not going to change. So you need to try different stuff. I'm not saying you need to completely change the scope of your channel, but try different ideas, try different formats, try different editing techniques, try to write your scripts a little different. Just try different stuff. That's a really big thing. People get stuck in ruts for years because they just do the same thing over and over again and expect different results. Yeah, you like metal music? Yeah, I like Metallica. Yeah, is that like a dig on my Coltrane comment? But yeah, like I said, I don't know that much about metal either. Uso versus Paul is for the championship. I feel like there's no way that they give Logan Paul Jey Uso's championship. That would be crazy. What's up, Rabbit Dude? Yeah, I think that I started the stream too early. I think people were still at work. I think yeah, I mean my book, like you say you got 10K subscribers, and my book is sort of designed for like very small channels, but I think it'll probably still be helpful. Like I think I have a basic idea of how to like get your channel going, but as for how to like blow up, I'm still trying to figure that part out myself. A lot of reboots tend to be of good stuff that doesn't gain anything in the remake. Can you think of a flawed old show or film that could be remade today in a way that would really let it shine? A flawed old show? I don't know. Like when it comes to reboots, I'm usually like, is this needed? Like, I don't know. Like, I feel like most of the time we should just let things be. I'm okay with like if you want to bring some characters back just for the fans, but if you're like trying to reboot something to fix it, I don't know if I really care about that too much. Like there are shows that I would love to see what the characters are up to just because I like the shows. You know, I would like to see a Schitt's Creek like reunion movie or something. That'd be cool, but not because I think Schitt's Creek needs to be fixed. I think Schitt's Creek is like near perfect, honestly. More shorts would actually be great. You could hook people into being interested in longer videos. Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's a flaw of mine that I don't do more shorts. I think it's pretty much the meta to do shorts now to build your audience. But shorts are kind of hard to do as well. And I'm definitely less experienced with shorts, but I've been doing a lot of research about shorts. Yeah, and I want to try to figure out like what kind of shorts I want to make that really feel, because I don't want to make just like garbage, because a lot of shorts are just sort of low effort garbage, and I don't want to do that. I just had to figure out what I've seen some really good shorts. Like ever since they raised the time limit of shorts to 3 minutes, people have been doing like these mini video essays in short form, which I think are really cool. I might try something like that. Have you done any videos on Metallica? I love Metallica. I definitely haven't. I don't really know anything about Metallica. But if I find something interesting to make a video about, then maybe. I'm really looking forward to the Malcolm in the Middle reboot that's coming out. They just finished filming for it. Yeah, I might check that out. The only problem with that is, isn't Dewey being played by a different actor? That's kind of weird, because I feel like that kid was like, that was Dewey, you know? Hello, Rendis? Sorry if I'm almost certainly pronounced that wrong. This is probably an unpopular opinion, but I really love the concept of the new Office spinoff. Yeah, I only just learned about this like last week. I don't, you know, I will always give something a chance. I won't ever, you know, hate something before I see it. But I do wish that there was more original content being made. I went to the movies the other day to watch Thunderbolts, which is really good, by the way. And I think literally 100% of the trailers were for either sequels or reboots. Like literally. And I was like, man, they really don't make original movies anymore. Have you seen any of those black guy listens to rock music for the first time videos? Yeah, I've seen those. It's an interesting genre. I mean, it kind of goes to show like how people like live in completely different worlds, different cultures, just completely listen to different music and engage with different media. Because a lot of the times what they were listening to are like some of the most popular songs ever made. It'll be like black guy listens to Bohemian Rhapsody. It's like, bro, that is like literally one of the most famous songs ever made. But if you like grew up in the hood, ain't nobody playing Bohemian Rhapsody. I didn't really get introduced to like rock music until high school. And that's only because I hung out with the nerds. And then once I got to college, that's when I actually started like meeting other cultures and other people from different backgrounds and stuff. And that's where a lot of my stuff opened up. He retired from acting. Yeah, we'll see though. Like I said, I never judge stuff before I watch it. It is a little bit weird though. Now it's interesting that they decided to continue with it, even though they had to get a new actor. But it's a new generation. It's a new, we got fresh eyes. He might pull it off. And they're all, they're like grown and stuff now, so it's not like if it was like if they were rebooting the kid version, I think that would be weird with a different actor. But since they're like grown, I think it could be a new take on the character. The most recent original movie I've seen was Sinners. Yeah, I still haven't seen that. Everybody is talking about Sinners though. I think I have to see it. Do I cover music? Nope. No Idea is original. I mean, to some extent, but some are more original than others. As a 90s kiddo, I'm excited to see the new Final Destination movie. I think it'll be fun. I mean, those movies were popular. I'm not a big horror person, and especially not a big gore person, and those movies get pretty gory. It's not really my jam, but I know that people like that stuff. Excited for the new Mission Impossible. Yeah, that was one of the trailers I saw. And I'm sure like a lot of these movies are fine and good. I'm not saying that a remake existing automatically means it's bad or it's going to be cringe or a cash grab, but it is just kind of, I would like to see more original stuff because that's, it's cool to just, fall in love with a new thing. But yeah, we're in like a weird era of media where studios just kind of are not they're kind of afraid to make movies or to fund movies that they can't guarantee will, you know, make them a lot of money. That's why we really got to support independent films and independent media, because those are like the only people that are really trying creative stuff these days. If a kid was like, what was it like to be young in the 2000s? Which show would best capture that? Well, it depends on what kind of person you're talking about. If you mean like a young, and I mean, and by young, do you mean like a child? I'm honestly not the best person to ask because I'm more of a 90s kid than a 2000s kid. But for example, Malcolm in the Middle is, you know, it's a very popular show about kids in the 2000s. And but that's sort of like a what, like a working class sort of, where did they live? I can't even, did they ever tell you what part of the country they lived in? Do you have a favorite video you've made, something you're incredibly proud of? I guess there are some videos that I like, but I generally I like all of my videos. The cop out answer is my favorite video is the most recent one, but I think there are a few that stand out. I think the best video on my channel currently is the Scrabble video, which probably a lot of you haven't seen because it didn't get that many views. But that's probably the best video I've ever made. Supporting indie stuff is one of the most important things a person can do. Yeah, that's something I'm realizing. I probably should have realized it sooner, but the indie stuff is kind of where the true art is. Like, I think some things are, I guess this is not to say that big studios can't make good creative stuff, but it's just not their priority. And it's not always the priority in the indies, but they're definitely more likely to do it. And if we want that kind of stuff to be made, then we have to support it. I don't mind a remake that makes huge changes to original source material. I don't either. I don't really care. All I care is it good? And I say this supporting indie stuff as a person who is a huge fan of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which is kind of responsible for why they don't make original movies anymore, because they're all trying to follow the success of the Marvel movies. So I'm part of the problem here, but yeah. I'd say Degrassi for 2000s teens. I could see that. I don't think I've ever seen an episode of Degrassi. Is it Degrassi or Degrassi? I don't even know how it's pronounced. I thought the show Pen 15 did a good job of capturing what my middle school experience was like. Yeah, I never saw that show either. I just hope your middle school experience wasn't like Neon Genesis Evangelion. I have seen that. I don't think they ever said where Malcolm's family. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I don't think they ever said it. I know that they said that Francis's military school was in Alabama. I know that. And I know that they said, I think they had to drive. I think they said that the drive was like 4 or 5 hours away or something like that. So maybe it was in the South. Yeah, maybe it was more hours than that. Let's say a child that is sociologically similar to you, and they ask you what the 90s were like. You have to decide what gives them the best dose of the zeitgeist you were in at that same age. A sociologically similar to me? Well, I grew up in the hood, so I'm trying to think, is there a show that's like that? Honestly, even though it's about white people, Roseanne is pretty close. But, you know, I grew up in the hood and poor, so I don't know if I'm the example you're looking for. I really liked your memorization video with the card deck. It was interesting and impressive. Yeah, I think that one's pretty good too. I think that's one of the better ones also. Canadians have a Midwest accent. Yeah, it's pretty close. I more or less have a degree in the MCU and big productions like that, but it's not like you can only pick one. I love my Marvel stuff and I love my indie creators with like a few dozen views. Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with liking both, but I do think Marvel is largely responsible for the situation that we're in. I'm getting a summer position at my job soon. Cool. You seem excited, so I guess that's a good thing. Congratulations. Roseanne was hugely important to me growing up. It's a shame what happened to her. Yeah. I have like I've thought about doing a video about her because I have very complex feelings about Roseanne. Like she's clearly like a weird person, and she's kind of always been, and even back in the day there were a lot of stories about how she was like terrible to work with. But her show was like very progressive in many ways. And I think that a lot of how she's acting these days is her lashing out because of the way that she was treated by the industry and by the public. Like, I just in general, I don't think a person deserves to have their whole like life and career taken away over a single tweet, which is kind of what happened to her. If that happened to me, I'd be pretty pissed off too. But yeah, I don't know. I've thought about that a lot. I have very mixed feelings about Roseanne Barr. And then not only that, to do that, to get fired from your show and then your character gets immediately killed off. Like, that's just rude, honestly. Like, that's some gangster shit. It's like, not only are we going to fire you, we're going to immediately kill your character. When did Heiko first appear on your channel and how did it come about? I bet a lot of people here don't even know what Heiko is. But probably, I mean, a long time ago, maybe like 2013, 2014. It's something that I've always kind of talked about amongst my friends and stuff. For those who don't know, Heiko is like an acronym that I came up with that stands for honest, assertive, kind, and open-minded, which I generally think are like the main 4 building blocks of being like a decent person. And it's something I've always like talked about with my friends and stuff, and then I decided to bring it to my channel, but I don't really say it anymore. I think the only difference between Roseanne and how I grew up is because Roseanne lived in a small town on that show, and I kind of lived in the city. But the idea of like the struggles of being poor and just trying to make it, and you know, not being sure like what's gonna happen the next day, like that I felt that for sure. There are other shows, like, you know, I grew up in a black neighborhood, so there may be other shows that are a little more similar. Like, I originally thought about the PJs, which is the animated show about the projects, but I didn't live in the projects. I wasn't like that hood. Like, we lived in a house in the, we'd go outside and play with our friends and stuff. So it wasn't that hood, but it was pretty hood. I think closer, like, if you think about like the movie Friday and stuff like that, that's probably closer. But I think the question was specifically about a TV show. How do you feel about Married with Children? I haven't watched that show in a while. That's actually on my list for shows to check out, but I remember loving it when I was a kid. I thought it was hilarious. And I, like most of America, had a crush on Christina Applegate. I'm interested to see if it still holds up. I'm not sure. I know there are a lot of like cringe jokes about like men and women and stuff like that, but you know, if you like think about things within their time period, a lot of times it's not even that bad. But I just have to I just have to watch it again. I actually remember that video when you talked about Heiko many years ago. Yeah. I've been watching your channel for about 10 years. Found it when I was at university and was looking for advice on dating. Thanks for being one of the good voices out there. Take care. Thank you. Yeah, that is that's an old school fan right there. I actually did used to make a lot of videos about, not necessarily about dating, but like just kind of videos targeted towards men and their interactions with women. Yeah, maybe I need to make that video about Roseanne. I don't know if I have enough thoughts to formulate a full video, but maybe. I'll just have to sit brainstorming. I mean, I probably do. Let's all give it up for Christina Applegate. Ed O'Neill is one of our local success stories. I thought that the writing, while often crude, was surprisingly smart, but it's been several decades since I watched it as well. Yeah, it seems like one of those shows that's probably still good. And it's like sort of a heightened reality type of show, which I don't know. I kind of like stuff like that. Did you ever watch Mad TV growing up? I did watch Mad TV growing up. I know when I was, back in the day, there was like Mad TV and there was SNL. And I'm pretty sure me and most of my friends preferred Mad TV to SNL at the time. Not gonna lie, I thought the Man Show was kind of funny. It was so over the top and lowbrow, but I think that was the point of the show. I haven't seen that in a while either. I remember seeing it a little bit. I don't remember being like a huge fan of it. But yeah, I don't know. It seems like it would be cringe, but I don't know. I'd have to see it. Because sometimes things are supposed to be over the top, but especially considering that what's the guy's name? So it was Jimmy Kimmel and Adam Carolla. I forgot his name. So Jimmy Kimmel seems to have sort of cleaned up his act lately, but Adam Carolla has continued to be cringe. So I don't know. Did you just see root beer? Actually, you saw an A&W zero sugar cream soda, and it's not very good. But I'm probably gonna get another one because this is what I have right now, and I kind of have a sweet tooth at the moment. And this is kind of how I satisfy my sweet tooth, is by drinking 0-calorie sodas. Have you kept most of your videos up on your channel, or do you delete older ones? I would say like 90% of my videos are still public. The only time I delete a video is if I don't like agree with it anymore. Well, not really. I definitely have videos I don't agree with anymore. But if it's like, if I like so don't agree with it that I just don't want it to represent me anymore, then I'll take it down. And more recently, I have taken down or unlisted, not like deleted. I've unlisted a couple videos recently just because they like didn't fit the scope of what I want the channel to represent. But for the most part, I keep all videos. Or if a video is just like factually wrong, like back in the day, when I was doing politics videos, it was important for me to like say things that are true and factually correct. And a couple of times I would later realize like, oh, this isn't correct. And so I would take the video down. Clutch Crab, thank you for the $10. When someone sends a super chat, what % of the money makes it into your account? What's the most efficient way to send money? I need to double check. I think last I checked, it's something like, I think it's 70% goes to the creator. Yeah, 70. It's a 70-30 split. The creator gets 70%. I would say, I mean, if you want to, do I even have the link? I think I like sending money through PayPal is probably the most efficient way in terms of them taking the smallest cut, but I don't even think I have the link in the description anymore. Because the thing about it is the super chat is just easier. It's more convenient for people to do. You don't have to go to a different site. You don't have to open up another, you don't have to sign in to another account. You can just do it straight from YouTube. So That's what most, even when I had the PayPal link, 90% of the donations were through Super Chat. Wait, let me see if it's there. Oh yeah. So the link in the description of the video that says privately donate, that's the PayPal link. But when you donate through PayPal, it's not going to show up anywhere. I'm not going to acknowledge it. It just goes to PayPal. But I think PayPal, they take like 2% or something. Like they don't take much of it at all. I'm definitely down for a Married with Children video when you do get around to watching it again. That could happen. That is a very possible thing that could happen. Honestly, I like Barks root beer more than A&W. I haven't had Barks root beer in a while. It was meant to be as over the top as they thought Oprah was. It was pretty cringe, but mildly clever every now and then. Yeah, I mean, it probably was. Honestly, whenever I go into shows like that with an open mind, I usually come out thinking it's not that bad. It's fine. I get what they were trying to do. Like I went back and watched Chappelle's show, and I was thinking this is probably going to be so cringe. There's probably going to be so many off-color jokes. And there kind of were, but overall it was fine, you know? You understood what he was going for. I'm still shook by when Jimmy Kimmel dismissed gamers, Let's Players. I don't think I knew about that. Just passing by to say hi. I'm a longtime watcher, and some of your older videos were really important to me growing up. Glad to see you're doing all right. Thanks, I appreciate that. Thanks for stopping by. Rabbit Dude, thanks for stopping by as well. So speaking of my cream soda, I'm gonna go grab another one real quick. I will be back in like 30 seconds. Here we go. Got another of these mediocre things. Sometimes I think when I'm like drinking something on stream that everyone's gonna think it's sponsored, but hopefully the fact that I'm telling you that it's bad will let you know that it's not a sponsor. Although I would take the A&W money if they gave it to me. No, I probably wouldn't promote a product that I didn't like. I mean, if they gave me like $100,000 to tell you that it was good, I don't know. I'd have to consider it. I'd come clean later, but in the moment, I'd have to take the money because that's life-changing. But you never know. You find Patreon useful? I'm only subscribed to 2 Patreons and you're one of them. I absolutely find Patreon useful. Patreon is a large reason why I'm able to be a full-time YouTuber. I'm hoping to build my Patreon even more because honestly, it's the way that I prefer to be funded. I don't like ads and I don't like sponsors, but I can't really say no to them. I guess I could, but it's financially unfeasible for me to not do ads and not do sponsors. But there is a universe where I get enough Patreon support where I can just turn off the ads and never do sponsors or brand deals anymore. That's the dream. I would love to work for the audience instead of for the advertisers. But, you know, I know money is tight, especially these days. But thanks for being a patron. Well, I guess they don't call them patrons anymore. Your Daria video sent me down a rabbit hole last weekend. Fantastic content. Love your vids. I appreciate that. Yeah, the Daria videos seem to get a good response. And I appreciate that because I really loved Daria. You know, I say this in the videos, but, you know, I had seen Daria, you know, when I was a kid, but I hadn't seen it really as an adult. And so when I went back and watched it, I was like very pleasantly surprised at how good it is. Such a great show. It's a very good show. I'm kind of sad that I didn't watch it more when I was a kid. I definitely would have been obsessed with that show if I watched it back then. Are there any podcasts you like listening to? I'm not a big podcast person. The only podcasts that I listen to on a regular basis are Pod Meets World, the Boy Meets World rewatch podcast, and Midst, which is like a sci-fi narrative podcast. It's really good if you haven't heard of it. What do you think about Beavis and Butthead? It's so dumb, but I enjoy it. I thought the new episodes were great. I think Beavis and Butthead is amazing. It's definitely one of those shows. I think I appreciate it a lot more as an adult than when I was a kid. I don't think I really got it as a kid. But I think that was the point of the show. Like, it's supposed to be dumb to appeal to, like, kids, but then it also is, like, really smart in certain ways. And it's just like, it tickles that sort of dumb part of your brain where you just laugh at really stupid, silly stuff. And it's really good at doing that. I honestly think Mike Judge is an absolute genius. I really think Mike Judge should be like celebrated more as like one of America's like greatest geniuses. Isn't it wild to think how Beavis and Butthead gave us Daria and King of the Hill? Yeah, I mean, it's not that wild, but it is. It just kind of shows just the longevity of this original idea. And all those shows are great. King of the Hill is another show that I would love to do a video about. But man, there's a lot of episodes of that show. That's kind of like these days I've been trying to find shows that are not that long because I probably don't have to watch the entire show before doing a video, but I kind of insist on doing that because I think that's kind of, at least I think that's what sets my videos apart, is I get the details in there. I will find the scene in the show that proves what I'm telling you. And I have to watch the whole show in order to do that. But the problem is some shows are so long, and King of the Hill is one of them. I did I did a video about Seinfeld, and that's a very long show. And the video ended up doing well, and I think it came out well, but man, that was a slog watching 9 seasons of Seinfeld. I mean, I enjoy the show, but it was like, it took a while. Electric Lomain, thank you for the $4.99. What's up, T1J? What's the fanciest restaurant you ever been to, and was it good? What restaurant has the best chicken fingers? I've never really been to a super fancy restaurant. I went to a restaurant. Probably the fanciest restaurant I've ever been to was a restaurant inside of a casino in where was it? Maybe I think it was in New Orleans. I don't remember the name of the restaurant though. But I got shrimp and grits and it was delicious, but it cost like $70 or something stupid like that. What restaurant has the best chicken fingers? Jim and Nick's. I don't know. Do y'all have Jim and Nick's? That might be a Southern only thing. Or is it only an Alabama thing? Oh no. Yes, it's in the South. It's a Southern restaurant, but they have the best chicken fingers. It's super good. Welcome to Night Vale is a really good podcast with a narrative. Yeah, I've heard a little bit of that. I liked it, and it was really popular for a while. Any strong feelings on South Park? I respect South Park. I think South Park is a thing that should exist, and I think it's generally pretty funny. And I kind of respect how consistent it is. And I think Matt Trey Parker and Matt Stone are also geniuses. They're really good at telling stories. I don't know if I agree with the ethos of South Park though. That's my only criticism. Like South Park has this idea of like everybody who believes anything is stupid, and it's just like this idea that all opinions should be made fun of, and I don't know if I agree with that. But you know, you don't have to agree with the ethos of a show in order to in order to enjoy it or respect it. I love Jackass, CKY, and the Tony Hawk games growing up, but I will say they did pioneer the modern YouTube prankster, for better and for worse. Yeah, I guess that is sort of the precursor to the modern pranksters. I liked Jackass and stuff sometimes, but sometimes it was like, man, I can't relate to these white boys. King of the Hill is amazing. Love Peggy and Bobby and Luann. Yeah, I think that's one of the greatest shows ever made. What's up, Micah? I never watched Seinfeld until I saw your video, so I decided to give it a chance. Interesting. What do you think? I think a lot of people, like I'm an elder millennial, and so that show was kind of made for my generation and probably younger Gen X as well. And I find that a lot of younger millennials and Gen Z don't really like Seinfeld that much. But my generation, we loved that shit. I don't know, Jim and Nix. Yeah, I just looked it up. It's only in the South. I'm not sure where you live, but it's in Alabama, Florida, Georgia, North Carolina, South Carolina, and Tennessee. And it's pretty good. It's like a barbecue place, but they also have very good chicken fingers. I have Jim and Nix near me in Tennessee. Have to try them. Yeah, give it a try. Get the chicken fingers. Also, get the they have like these cornbread biscuits that are super good. You got to get that. Although I think you get them free. I think that's sort of like their version of like the free breadsticks or the free chips. Do you think fish ever get thirsty? I'm pretty sure they do because all living things need water to survive. So if they don't get the water, they probably have some kind of response to that. But since they live in water, they're probably I guess that's why you're asking. Since they live in water, they have access to it. But if they're in a position where they don't have that water, I'm sure they could get thirsty. But I guess they probably don't get thirsty. Now I think about it. You know, assuming normal conditions where they're in the water all the time. You really could do some convincing ad reads. Yeah, I guess I just did an ad read for Jim and Nix. This is why I try to only do sponsorships for things that I actually like. At least nowadays. I won't say that I always did that. Sometimes you just gotta take the money, but it's a lot easier to sell something if you actually stand by it. Are you following the Diddy trial? I bet you are. I mean, not really. I'm not like going out of my way to follow it, but it's kind of hard to ignore. A lot of people are talking about it. Who's winning UGA or Alabama 2025? Are you reacting to my Alabama poster? So obviously I'm rooting for Alabama, but Alabama is a shell of its former glory. I'm really just gonna have to see. But as of right now, I don't know if I would bet on Alabama. But actually, Alabama is really good at beating Georgia. Even when they're not good. So, I don't know. What happens when you get scared half to death twice? Are you like reading these from a book or something? Did you ever watch the sketch comedy show from MTV, The State? I've never seen The State. I've heard of it though. No, UGA is gonna dominate. I mean, they probably thought that last year. You know who else has good chicken fingers? Publix, which is another, I think, South only thing. Wait, let me see. Yeah, it's in the South. Publix is a supermarket in the South. And in the deli, they make their own chicken and stuff. And I don't know what kind of recipe they have, but they have like the best chicken fingers and the best fried chicken. Their deli in general is just really good. They have a lot of stuff that they make there. If Mike Tyson was in his prime, do you think he could take down Jake Paul? Is that a serious question? You gotta be trolling with that one. Mike Tyson could beat probably anybody in his prime. Playing any video games lately? The last video game I played, actually, I popped in GTA 5 again the other day, and I played a little bit of that. I just was kind of feeling GTA 5, and I played that. Still fun. Outside of that, I've been playing Balatro. That game's super fun. And that's kind of the only things I've been playing lately. I've been thinking, like, I've talked about this a lot, but I don't play games that much anymore. You know, I was an avid gamer when I was younger, and I kind of just don't do it anymore. Because it's kind of hard for video games to keep my attention. Like, it has to be like a really special game to keep my attention. And I usually play games that don't end, so I don't have to like worry about trying to finish it. So that's like, you know, games like Balatro, you just go in and play a session and then you're done. Or like a fighting game, you just go in and play some matches and you're done. But I've been thinking I want to like get back into video games, because usually what I do in my leisure time is I just sit and just watch a bunch of YouTube videos or like look at Reddit or something. And it's like, I could be like playing an awesome video game right now instead of just doing this sort of like barely conscious internet scrolling. So I don't know, I've been thinking about it. And are you Christian? No, not at all. For sure, Balatro is a good time. I had to put it down, but may pick it back up. You had to put it down? Is it like, I mean, I guess it's addictive. Is that why? I want to find like some cool games to play. I'm very like, I'm like kind of sad about where it seems like video games are going. I don't know if you heard all the news about the Nintendo Switch and how they're like, apparently they're trying to like make each game unique to the cartridge so that you can't share it with people, which is wild. And of course, video games have already done the thing where A, you don't own the games, you just own a license to play the game, and B, even if you buy a hard copy, all the hard copy does was just send you a link to download it. Like, there's actually the information for the game is not actually on the disc, and I don't like that. I don't want to support that. So I'm probably going to be leaning towards indie games and developers that aren't cringe like that. Do you mind if I tell you a couple Bible verses? I mean, you are free to do whatever you want. I don't think it will do anything though, but it's your life. You can type whatever you want into the internet. I don't think that you will tell me any Bible verses that I'm not familiar with, if that's what you're thinking. Like, if you think you're going to tell me something that I don't know or that I've never heard, then nah. But if you want to, go for it. What religion am I? NA, not applicable. I am no religion. I am an atheist. I'm definitely curious about the intent here, but the Bible is endlessly fascinating, so there's that. Yeah, I mean, obviously, I get the sense that there is witnessing and preaching about to be done, but maybe not. I don't know. When I was in college, we studied the Bible as literature in one of my English classes, and it was one of my favorite classes. I agree that the Bible is a fascinating piece of literature. Are you told very often that your voice is soothing, easy to listen to? I've heard that before. Are you saying that? I hear my voice all the time. So I guess I'm used to it. You could probably make ASMR type videos for extra income. Interesting. I could use some extra income. I have no idea where to even start with ASMR though. I actually have a friend who has a particularly or a semi successful ASMR channel. Maybe I could ask them for some advice. It seems like ASMR is like a saturated category though. Like, how do you even stand out in the ASMR community? There's got to be so many ASMR channels. I'd have to like I have to turn the bass up on my my mic. I was gonna try to do it, but I don't know how to do it. I think you can do it on OBS, but I don't know how to do it. Nah, let me not. I was gonna do it, but I don't want to mess up my settings. I was gonna do it as a joke. I was gonna turn the bass up on my mic. What have I been reading lately? I'm actually reading a book about body language. It's called What Every Body Is Saying. I think that's what it's called. I just recently got into, or I just was interested in learning more about body language. So I found a book about it. If you have any questions about Christianity. No, I'm good. I grew up Christian. I spent a good portion of my life thinking about Christianity. Yeah, I have a long history of Christianity. I don't I'm very good on that. You think secular people and secular media would be as invested in the new pope if this happened 12 years ago as compared to now in this current political climate? Probably not. I mean, the current political climate is kind of affecting how we interact with a lot of stuff. So there's no reason to think that this is any different. Do you think the Catholic Church will schism? Probably not. The Catholic Church is really good at overlooking inconsistencies and disagreements and conflicts. They've been doing that for centuries. My favorite Bible verse is Ezekiel 25:17. I see what you did there. Yeah, I'm like so far gone past religion. I don't even think about it anymore. I sometimes even forget that religion is a thing until I like watch the news or something. I used to think about it all the time on a daily basis for a long time, for most of my childhood, my entire teenage years, and many of my adult years. But I'm like so far past it these days. Hello, Ikem? I suppose we're yeah, we can go for about 2 hours. I'm gonna probably end the stream here in about 10-15 minutes. You can see if there's any last couple things that people are interested in talking about. I'll probably start the stream later next time. It seemed like maybe people were still getting off work when I started. Have I seen Noah Sampson's Palestine stream at all? I have not, no. I heard about it though. I heard that that was a thing that was happening. Yeah, I don't, I saw that he was having guests and stuff. Is it still going right now? Maybe that's why no one's here. What's your favorite color? My favorite colors are probably orange and purple. Not probably, they just definitely are. I think orange and purple should be used more in stuff. I feel like they're rare colors to see. What do you think of High School Musical? I've never seen High School Musical. I was a little too old for High School Musical when it came out, so it kind of wasn't on my radar. But I hear people talk about it all the time. I don't really understand. Like, is that a thing that is good? I can't tell if people like High School Musical like genuinely or if they like it ironically. It has to be ironic. I don't know. Maybe. Because and I think that can change over time. Like when you're a kid, you like something ironically, but then as you grow up, you realize actually I just liked it. Because there's definitely things like that for my generation. Like I think, for example, like the Backstreet Boys, for example. Like when I was a kid, it was like, you know, it was like not that cool to like the Backstreet Boys if you weren't a teenage girl. But people would be like, yeah, those songs are cool, and it was kind of ironic. But then now that we're old, we were like, actually, some of those songs were bangers. When you see a content creator you like associated with other creators that you highly disagree with, does that change your viewpoint of that person ever? It depends on the degree of the association. I don't think that simply having a conversation with someone reflects anything on you. But you know, if I see them, you know, if I see them encouraging a certain type of behavior, or you know, or kind of like downplaying harmful things, then that could be one thing. But I strongly disagree with this idea of like associating this, the simple association of people implies endorsement of that person. I don't agree with that. But sometimes you will find out through that association that that person believes some of the same harmful things as the person you don't like. And that can be disappointing. I remember when I was 16, I had a girlfriend who was like 15 at that time. I felt the age gap because she liked High School Musical and me and my friends made fun of High School Musical. Nostalgia plays a big role too. What's up, somebody? Like Napoleon Dynamite, you grow up and you realize when he's dancing, he's the best person that day. Also depends if they're actively hurting the community or if they're just hurting themselves. Yeah, I don't know. I the way that I see that things, I see those types of things, I think is a lot different than the community at large. And it's one of the many reasons why I no longer wish to be a part of the political community, because that's the way that they act a lot of the time. Is they'll completely write someone off just because they had a single conversation with another person at some point. And other behaviors in that vein. Who are your favorite creators? That's hard to say. It changes over time, and it's hard to think of them on the spot. I always say that Vlogbrothers is my favorite YouTube channel. Hank Green / John Green. A lot of that is just because I've been watching them for like 15 years. But Hank Green and John Green are like two of my favorite creators. I really like Caleb City. I think he's hilarious. I think he's a comedy genius. I like Drew Gooden a lot. And then there's a lot of niche creators that make videos about stuff that I like, that I think are good, that you probably would not know unless you were in that community. I like H Bomber Guy a lot. I think he's a genius. He only like uploads like once a year, but it's always a banger. Collectivist thinking goes a bit far sometimes. Yeah. And I think it's very common in online political spaces. Drew Gooden is one of my all-time favorites. Is my favorite plain ice cream flavor creator. Drew Gooden is definitely my favorite of that sort of comedy or commentary crowd. I like Curtis Connor a lot too, but A lot of those people are like too dry and cynical for me. And I think Drew has a good mix of dry, but it's also like it also has like feeling behind it. Like it's not cynical. I don't like cynical stuff. And I think a lot of that commentary stuff is cynical. You'd be my favorite nostalgia creator these days. When I first found you, you touched on philosophy and social stuff more. I think if it wasn't for you, the guys at Waste Management would have rubbed off. What is waste management? Is that a thing? Are you still open to getting a lizard as a pet? I heard they can be high maintenance because of cleaning their enclosure or something. Yeah, I was looking into getting either a bearded dragon or a gecko, I think. But if they're high maintenance, then I don't want it. I'm specifically looking for something that's low maintenance. What's your zodiac sign? I'm a Gemini. Curtis Connor, Drew Gooden, Danny Gonzalez are all fine, but Gooden picks the best topics. Yeah, I think his videos have a good combination of being like silly while also like talking about something. Sometimes they're just silly, but yeah, I don't know. I think I already kind of said it. But yeah, I'm just trying to think of like really popular creators that y'all would know that I like. I love Captain Disillusion, if you're familiar with that channel. I think that's one of the best channels ever, but that's another creator that only uploads like once a year. I feel like a lot of the channels that I really loved are people that don't post anymore, really. And then there's just like niche channels. Like if you like Scrabble, then Will Anderson's channel is really good. It's like the best Scrabble channel, but that's only if you like Scrabble content. And like if you like Hearthstone, there's a really good Hearthstone creator called Raren, who's just makes really entertaining content, but that's only if you're into Hearthstone, you know? If you want a low maintenance pet that will love you forever, then get a turtle. I've thought about turtles. I feel like I've seen a lot of stuff that recommends against getting a turtle, but I'll just have to do more research, I guess. Do I believe in spirit/ghosts? Nope. Not in any real or literal sense, no. If you could have any superpower, what would it be and why? Definitely the power to control time. I think that's easily the best power. You could get anything done that you wanted. If you just had the power of time. You could fix all your mistakes. You could get a do-over every time you did something weird or stupid. Do you like Gokanaru? I don't know who that is. The Scrabble vid is one of your best. I agree. I appreciate that. I think the Scrabble video is probably the best video I've ever made. Jenny Nicholson is great for someone who posts once a year. Yeah, Jenny's cool. Jenny, I appreciate Jenny because she has the feel of old school YouTube, yet she still gets millions of views on every video. But it's literally just a girl sitting in front of a camera talking. it's it's wild, but it's good. Like, I don't know. It's interesting that she made that work. You would eventually need a yard is all. They're happy campers, but they get big. Yeah, I don't know if I want a big ass turtle. What was your favorite subject in school? Art. What's your favorite food? Either chicken fingers or fried rice. You can help it pull your tractor if the economy fails and we all become farmers. That seems cruel to the turtle. I would say art's my favorite subject, but people will say that art doesn't count. Why doesn't it count? I feel like that's perfectly should count. If art doesn't count, then probably English. And if I can narrow it down, creative writing. But I took a creative writing class in college. I didn't really have a specific creative writing class before that. Have you watched Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? I mean, I watched the cartoon that was out when I was a kid in the 80s and 90s. I watched the hell out of that. That was like my favorite show when I was a little kid. But that franchise has been remade and rebooted many times. And I've not seen any of the remakes or reboots. That's my major in college, creative writing. That was my major in college. Eventually, I changed my major like 3 or 4 times, but I eventually settled on creative writing. And in fact, my original goal was to teach. That wasn't really my goal, but it was at the time, it was like the only career path that interested me in any way. But I didn't really pursue it. 2012 TMNT is good. I don't doubt it. I'm glad that they found a way to reinvent those characters for new generations because I loved it when I was a kid. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Turtles in Time on the SNES is like one of the greatest games ever made. I have played the newer Ninja Turtles game though. It's really good. The newer co-op Ninja Turtles game. I love screenplay. I love poetry. It's such a good activity, and it'll be fun to teach if I make it that far because it's not as hard as like science or math. Yeah, I mean, I guess it depends on the person. Probably some people would find it harder, but yeah. The most recent video game I've been playing is Balatro. Very good game. Who's your favorite character in SpongeBob SquarePants? Sandy. What's that game about? Balatro, it is a roguelike deck building game. It's a poker themed roguelike deck building game. It's a game where you make poker hands and you get points for making better hands, but as you go, you get multipliers and boosts that give you more points, and your goal is just to get as many points as possible. It sounds very simple, but it's very deep and complex and very addictive. And it's very popular too. I believe it won the award for the Indie Game of the Year at the last Game Award, Video Game Awards. Any board games I've played? I haven't played any board games recently. I played a lot of D&D, but I wouldn't describe it as a board game. Although I'm going on a beach trip this weekend, and gonna have some friends, and we're getting an Airbnb and everything. So I've been actually looking for some board games to bring for us to play, you know, when we're just hanging out at the house. So if you have any suggestions, let me know. New albums that I got into recently? Nope, I don't keep up with music at all. And I can't really remember the last time I listened to a full album. What's my favorite decade? I don't know. I'm kind of enamored with the 80s. I wasn't really around for much of the 80s. I was born in the 80s, but I didn't really get to experience it. But the 80s just seemed fun. It was a lot more colorful. People had bigger hair. The music was awesome. The movies were awesome too. You know, there was obviously downsides. I think the murder rate was pretty high in the 80s. It was still kind of rough if you were like not straight. There was some tough things going on in the black community in the 80s. So let's not over romanticize, but you know, if we're just having fun with a lighthearted question, then that's going to be the answer. Ticket to Ride is a great board game. Yeah, I've heard about that. I never played it. A card game called Fitsit. Interesting. I'll definitely look into it. Oh, I'm looking at it right now. It looks interesting. A lot of debating. Yeah, that's right up my alley. The Game of Life. Doesn't that game take forever to play? Kind of like Monopoly. Yeah, I just looked at the description on Google. A&W sugar-free. This is sugar-free cream soda, and I agree it's not good. I guess you weren't here earlier when I was talking about how bad it is. But I bought a 12 pack of it, so I'm gonna drink it. But sugar-free, I drink a lot of sugar-free sodas, and some of them are good. I've been trying to find the best cream/vanilla flavored soda. This is not it. So far, my favorites are Dr. Pepper cream soda and Czech cream soda, which you wouldn't expect Czech to be one of the best, but it's really good. When I was playing with friends, we were literally arguing about what is considered hollow. A friend was trying to say that a watch was hollow. Yeah, I don't know about that. I drink sugar-free drink mixes from the dollar store, get those, and suddenly drinks at 25 cents again, like when I was a kid. Yeah, I try not to drink calories, so I always drink 0-calorie, sugar-free type stuff. If ever moved for not a cream soda, I really like Dr. Pepper Blackberry Zero. I haven't tried that one. There's a bunch of like Dr. Pepper flavors. I guess I'll try it. I'm a little hesitant to try Blackberry Zero, but since you've actually recommended it, maybe I'll give it a try. But yeah, that game sounds like something I would enjoy. I've had celery soda before. I think it was good. Have a good rest of your day. All right, Cooking, thanks for showing up. And I'm probably going to be in the stream. I'll answer this last question. What inspired you to be a content creator? I've always kind of been a content creator even before a content creator was a thing. I just like making stuff. Like earlier I said, my favorite subject in school was art. I've always been the sort of artsy kid that's always drawing and making stuff. And as soon as I got the internet, that was just like a bigger opportunity to make stuff. And I used to just make all kinds. I used to make websites, and I made like a little web comic for me and my friends to laugh at. I made like, I just made all kinds of stuff. And then YouTube came out, and it was just another opportunity to make stuff. And so I just kept making stuff, and eventually I made some stuff that built an audience. A bunch of people started watching, and then it just kind of went from there. So yeah, that's the answer to that question. But I'm gonna go ahead and end the stream. Thank you all for hanging out with me. As always, be on the lookout for another video on the channel. There should be one coming soon, hopefully before the end of the month. I actually have a video done and uploaded, but I'm having trouble with some copyright stuff that I'm trying to solve. So hopefully that gets resolved before the end of the month. Check out the Discord if you want to hang out with other people in the community and just have more chill conversations like this. I do have a Discord server that you can join. I'll drop a link in the chat, and also there will be a link on the screen at the end of the stream. And I guess that's about it. I guess you can support me on Patreon if you want to support me and support this channel and help me free me from the claws of having to do brand deals. But anyway, thanks again. I'll see you all soon. Bye bye.